Well, happy Thursday. All right. By golly, I think we're back. I'm not sure how it's going to look for people not watching this live, but 4 minutes have elapsed, but maybe on the stream it only is a matter of seconds. I don't know how that all works. So I'll just start over again like it never happened. We're on the June 8th date, so if it's repeating myself and you're seeing this twice, apologize for that. June 8th, game 382, Oakland Coliseum. Singles 1-3, home runs 1-5. Oakland won the real game 9-3. Oakland comes in first place, 31-23. The White Sox tied for second at 26-26. So if the White Sox are going to make up ground on the A's, this is a good chance to do it. And they actually have the better pitching matchup based on the numbers so far. Pitching matchup, we've got Floyd Bannister, who on the replay is 7-0. And we got Ontiveros, who's on the replay, is 0-3. So you would think the numbers would favor the Chicago White Sox, but that's why you roll the dice and play the game, because you never know how that's going to turn out. So now let me bring up the Strat computer again, since I had to shut it down. We'll bring it back up again. And fortunately, I never started anything with it, so I didn't have to reboot anything except for the computer itself, or the program itself. So now we move on, and we're looking at Chicago and Oakland. Floyd Bannister against Steve Ontiveros. So let's get this ball rolling. As soon as we get past all the preliminaries on the computer and get everything set up, we can go through the full spectrum of stats for Steve Ontiveros on the replay. Well, on the real season, he was 10-8 with a 4, even an ERA of an even 4. Easy for me to say. On the replays, 0-3 with a 6.39 earned run average. So he's been struggling, to say the least. But he's going to give it a go here against the White Sox. And leading things off for the Chicago White Sox will be Daryl Boston, the left fielder. Got our Oakland A's colored dice to try to give them a little bit of karma. Hello, Mike. Good to see you. Hopefully the Xfinity will behave now. And, of course, before we have the first pitch, we have to have, or at least I have to have, the ceremonial first sip. And maybe two on a cool morning. It's about 30 degrees outside, so. While it's not 30 degrees in here, it mentally makes you feel like it's cold out there. It's cold in here, so. Two ceremonial first pitches, you can't go wrong. Hello, Jeremiah. Good to see you. All right, so here we go. Daryl Boston on the replay. Boston's hitting 282, 7 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 258 real world, but he's hitting 282 on the replay. Ontiveros, 6'7" to the left-hander, is a base on balls. That's not a good start for Ontiveros. For Ontiveros now, that's his 9th walk in just 25 innings. So a little bit high for a walk ratio. Look at the pitcher-catcher hold interface. Ontiveros is a -1. Bannister is a -2. So if Boston wants to get the lead, it'd be a 1-12. They'll try it. Why not? 2 through 7 or an 11 to get the lead. 8, he does not get the lead, so it's a moot point. Here's Ozzie Guillen, shortstop. Guillen on the replay hitting 283, a homer and 19 driven in. He hit 279 real world. 6-6, and that's a strikeout from Ontiveros. So he follows up the walk with a strikeout. One away for designated hitter Harold Baines. Baines on the replay hitting 283. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, 283. A homer and 14 driven in, 293 real world. Strat computer, the numbers on the Strat computer are very, very small, and my eyes aren't that great. So I'm going to have to look in there and really dig in and get the numbers. 310, that's a fly ball to right field, and that's handled by Mike Davis, 2 down. Taveros trying to pitch around the leadoff walk, and that'll bring up Greg Walker, first baseman. Walker hitting just .233 on the replay, 4 homers, 22 driven in. He hit .256 in the actual season. We get a 6-7, and that's going to be another base on balls. So the control issues continue for Mr. Ontiveros. Now we got first and second, 2 down clutch situation for Ivan Calderon, and he loses 3 hits right here in column 1. 8, 10, and 11, they all go away in the clutch. So normally a loaded column 1, but not in the clutch. But he finds column 2 instead. 2-8 is a ground ball to short. And Gallego playing shortstop today instead of Alfredo Griffin. He will make the play, and the inning is over. So Ontiveros pitches around the 2 walks. And we go to the bottom of the first. It is Chicago nothing and Oakland coming to bat. And Floyd Bannister is the pitcher. And like as I said yesterday in the other game, lead into this one, if it wasn't for Jimmy Key, Floyd Bannister would be the pitcher of the season on the replay. On the real season, he was 16-11 with a 3.58 ERA. On the replay, he's 7-0 with a 2.37 earned run average. So he's definitely been pitching way above his normal numbers in this replay. He's gotten fortunate rolls, I guess. All right, Luis Polonia leading off for the Oakland A's. He's hitting .284, 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit .287 real world. Lefty-lefty matchup. 5-8, and that's a fly ball to right field. Calderon will track that down, 1 away. Tomorrow's game will be sponsored by AARP, as we have Cleveland facing California, and you got 2 old men, Phil Niekro and Don Sutton, going at it. So the AARP will be sponsoring that. Here's Carney Lansford, hitting .276, 9 homers, 33 driven in. He hit .289 real world. 110, and that's a pop out to second baseman Manrique for out number 2. And that'll bring up Jose Canseco. Canseco on the replay hitting .265, 12 homers, 33 driven in. He hit .257 in the actual season. 1-6 for Canseco. Struck him out. First strikeout for Bannister. It's an easy 1-2-3 inning. We go to the top of the second. No score from the Oakland Coliseum. Remember, Oakland won this game real world 9-3. Pudge, Carlton Fisk, will lead off for the Sox. He is hitting .264 on the replay. 6 homers, 20 driven in. He hit .256 in the actual season. 5-6, and that's a line out right to Tony Phillips at second base. 1 away. That'll bring up Tim Hewlett. He's been playing second base for a little while Manrique was out, and now Manrique's back, so Hewlett's back at third base. Hewlett on the replay hitting .228, 4 homers, 17 driven in. He at .217 real world. 5-6 is another line out to Tony Phillips. The exact same role, I do believe. So Tony Phillips said, I do it once, I'll do it twice. But don't ask me to do it a third time. Here's Manrique. Manrique hitting .257 on the replay, a homer and 10 driven in. He at .258 real world. 1-8, and that's a strikeout. So Ontiveros, a much more productive second inning. Less stressful, nothing else going on. We go to the bottom of the second, still no score. And it'll be Mark McGuire leading off against Bannister. It'll be McGuire, Ron Say, who had an incredible game the last time out, going 5 for 5, including a walk-off home run, and then Terry Steinbach. So here's McGuire. McGuire on the replay hitting .290, 17 homers, 41 driven in. He hit .289 real world, so you can't get much closer than that. .290 on the replay, .289 real world. 6-9, and that's a line out to Walker at first base. 1 away. And that brings up Ron Say. Say now with hitting 235 on the replay, 5 homers, 8 driven in. He hit 221 real world. 211 for Say, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's only a 1-3, so he will fly it to left field. And they're now 2 away. For Terry Steinbach, the catcher, Steinbach hitting 287 on the replay. 2 homers, 10 driven in. He hit 284 real world. It's a 4-7 right-handed. It's a ground ball second base X. Manrique, 3E13, first X check of the game. 3E13 for Manrique. 3-15, he'll get to that. 3-15 is a G1. That's a 7, and he is an E13. No problems there for Manrique. He makes the play. And the A's go quietly again in their half of the inning. So we go to the third. No score from Oakland Coliseum. Leading off for the Sox, number 9 hitter Ken Williams, center fielder. Williams on the replay is only hitting a 180 in 50 at-bats, a homer and 6 driven in. He had 281 real world in 391 at-bats. But he's about only 1/8 through the season, so he's got time to turn it around. 5-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. Mike Davis is a 3E16. Kind of high on the area rating there. 3E16. 3-7. Iffy, but probably should get there. 3-7, he does. That's a 9, and he's an E16. E16, there is no 9, so Mike Davis makes the play. And there's 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Darryl Boston. Walked his first time up. 2-4. Ground ball to first. McGuire will just wave off Ontiveros, says, I take it myself. 2 up, 2 down. And here's Ozzie Guillen. He struck out his first chance. 1 of 2 strikeouts for Ontiveros. 6-8, left-hander. That's another walk for Ontiveros. That is his 3rd base on balls he has issued. And now Guillen's going to be looking to get the lead. He needs a 6 or a 7 to obtain the good lead. Doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And here's Harold Baines. Baines flew to right first time up. 6-2 with the left-hander. The fly to center this time, and that's hauled in by Polonia. And the Sox go quietly in the 3rd. The offense needs to pick it up if we're going to get to that 9-3 score that the real game had. But I don't mind. I like good pitching, so I'll take it as long as I can get it. Here's Bannister facing Mike Davis. Davis hitting 272 on the replay. 11 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 265 real world, so not too far off. Got dropped lower in the order because of the left-hander. 4-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. So we're looking at Boston. He's a 2E4. You would think he would make the play. 2-3, though. The double die is going to make that challenging. 2-3, that'll drop in for a base hit. That's a 12, and he is an E4, so that's not a problem. But he can't quite get to that Mike Davis blooper, and it drops in for the first hit for the A's. Now, Bannister is a -2 arm, or he's -2 and Fisk is 0. So Davis still going to try for the lead, 2 through 5. Can't get it, so no problems. Move on to Tony Phillips, second baseman. Phillips on the replay hitting 262. 3 homers, 24 driven in. He at 240 real world. 3-8 for Phillips, and that's a fly ball to left field. Hauled in by Boston this time. He was able to get to it, unlike the last time. 1 away, and for the shortstop, Mike let go Gallego. Gallego on the replay in 49 at-bats is hitting 204, a homer and 8 driven in. He's 250 in the real season on 124 at-bats. 5-5 is an in-home run chance, 1-6. That's an 8. It'll be a double. He would have had normal power against lefties. That would have been gone, but 8 is going to make that a double to center field. It's assumed to go to center field. Center fielder for the White Sox is Williams, who's a 0. So Davis, who was being held on, drops him to a 14. So it'd be a 1-14 to score him. Gallego runs at a 13, so he would take third on the throw. Oakland's going to send him. The White Sox will throw through, and so Gallego will take third on the throw regardless of what happens. But it's a 1-14 for him to score from first base on the double. 1-14. And he's out at the plate. How about that? What a relay from Ozzie Guillen. So it's going to go 8-6-2, and they throw Davis out at the plate on Gallego's double. He took the chance, and it ended up not paying off. But if you don't send him and then he ends up getting stuck there, you're going to say you should have sent him. So, I mean, 1-14 with that 70% chance, and it just didn't work out. So sometimes your gambles don't pay off, although really at 70%, how much of a gamble was it? It was just bad break with the double die, that's all. All right, here's Polonia now with Gallego at third and 2 outs. It is a clutch situation for Polonia. And in the clutch, he loses that one hit on 210. That's a 3-6, and he's going to fly it to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So Oakland had a chance, but come away empty-handed. After 3 complete, we're still scoreless from the Oakland Coliseum. Stay in California tomorrow for the California Angels and the Cleveland Indians. The old folks home ball game. It's going to be Phil Niekro against Don Sutton. Here's Greg Walker. 6-8, and that's another walk issued by Ontiveros, number 4 for Ontiveros. Those walks are going to get him in trouble. Walker is not going to be held, though. And here's Calderon. That's a 3-5 for Calderon, and that's a walk. 5th walk issued by Ontiveros. And La Russa's over there pulling out his finely coiffed hair, as he can't do anything about all these walks. Here's Fisk. This would be a great time for a bunt, but Fisk is a D bunter, so it ends that. 5-10. And that's a ground ball third base X, potential double play. Lansford's a 3-E-8. But the 4 on the double die takes care of that. He'll be lucky to get an out. 3 and a 4, he won't get an out. That's a single 1 star. That's going to load the bases. And that's a 9. And he is an E8. There is no 9 there, but it's going to sneak by Lansford. He knocks it down but has no play, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. The double die says no double plays around here. Here's Hewlett. Bases are loaded, nobody out. The infield is back for the double play. They need outs. Ontiveros could probably use a strikeout right about now. Definitely can't use a walk. 3-9. That's a ground ball shortstop B. Boy, the 3-8 would have been a double play, but shortstop B is going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. The run does score. First run of the game, and Calderon will take third. It is 1-0 White Sox on the fielder's choice. Runners at the corners. Hewlett will not be held. Here's Manrique. Now a double play would get him out of the inning. See if they can turn it. 3-10, and that's a fly ball center field B question mark, possible sacrifice fly. Calderon runs at a 14. You add 2 to that, make it a 16. Poloni is a 0 arm, so it's a 1-16. He's going to come home and score on the sac fly. And he does. So it's a sacrifice fly to center field by Manrique, and it's 2-0 in favor of the White Sox. Both the guys that scored walked. That's where those walks will come back to get you. 2-0 White Sox. 2 down now with Hewlett at first for Ken Williams. .111 for Williams. He will fly to right, and that will end the inning. But 2 runs on the board for the White Sox, and they take a 2-0 lead. and hand that to their ace, Floyd Bannister. He'll be facing Lansford, McGuire, and Say. I'm sorry, Lansford, Canseco, and McGuire. Say is in the hole. Not even in the hole. The hole is, I think, the third guy. So I'm not sure what his position is. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check, but again, only a 1-3. So that will be a line out to first base. One away. And that'll bring up Canseco. Struck out his first chance. That's a 1-5, and he's going to draw a base on balls this time. First walk issued by Bannister. And we'll see if Canseco wants to try to get a lead. He needs a 6 to get the good lead. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. Here's McGuire. Tying run at the plate. In McGuire. 5-8, and that's a fly to right field. 2 down as Calderon hauls it in. So now it's going to be up to Ron Say, the Penguin. 5-8, and that's another fly to right. That's going to end it. So Bannister, a shutdown inning, takes care of the A's. We go to the 5th. 2-0 Chicago. And the 5th inning, this is the fatigue inning for Ontiveros. Oakland does have a lot of guys in their bullpen that are, I believe, are pretty well rested. So I'll take a look here and see who was, I don't remember who was used last time. Let's see if they're not showing anybody that's tired or overworked. I think Gene Nelson pitched a couple innings last time. Howell's been getting a little bit over usage as a closer, but other than that, they could put Eckersley in that role. So it looks like right-hander Dennis Lamp is loosening in the bullpen for Oakland, just in case. Journeyman Dennis Lamp. But right now it's Boston. Hello, Dr. D. Right now it is. Why am I getting... All right, something didn't go right on the computer because... Why is it giving me Canseco? Why did I get Land? Okay, I see what happened. I didn't put Lansford's line out into the computer, apparently. And so I got him walking the same as Canseco. So let me fix that real quick. Easy fix. Yeah, some reason I gave Lansford the walk. So let's make him line to first. We'll give Canseco the walk. And then 2 straight flyouts to right field will end the inning. Then we can get going here. Now we're back in business, and it's Darryl Boston leading things off. He's 0 for 1. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check again. 1-3. That's going to fail. So just a ground ball to McGuire. 1 away. For Ozzie Guillen. Guillen is 0 for 1, or 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. 3-6 for Guillen. He's going to ground it to short, and Gallego will take care of that. So Ontiveros not pitching badly at all, just not getting any run support. He's up against the ace of the White Sox, so just a bad break on the pitching rotation. Here's Harold Baines. He's 0 for 2. 4-8, and that's a single to right field. First hit of the game for Baines. 2-out single. He's no threat to run. Here's Greg Walker. Walker has walked twice. 1-4, and this time it's a ballpark blast. It's 1-5, but that's a 20. So Oakland Coliseum says, nope, you're not going to hit a home run here. And that's going to end the inning. So Ontiveros will keep fatigue, will keep endurance into the 6th. No problems there. And Bannister comes back out. He'll be facing Steinbach, Davis, and Phillips here in the bottom of the 5th, leading 2-0. Have some more of those swig of coffee while it's still warm. Steinbach grounded to second. First time up. 3-7. This time he strikes out. Only the second strikeout for Bannister. And that'll bring up Mike Davis. Davis is 1 for 1 with a single, but got thrown out trying to score on the double by Gallego. 5-6 lefty, and that's another base hit for Davis. That's going to be a single for Mike Davis. He's 2 for 2 against the lefty. 2 through 5 to get the lead. Doesn't get it. He will hold. Here's Tony Phillips. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Bannister. Strikeout number 3. And now here's Gallego. Gallego hit the double his first time up. Thought he had an RBI, but they threw Davis out at the plate. 5-8, and that's a fly to right, and that will take care of the A's here in the 5th. So we go to the 6th. It's still 2-0 Chicago. A far cry from the real-life score of 9-3. That's for sure. And Ontiveros back out again. Keep an eye on him for fatigue. So far, so good. He can still go. Here's Calderon. Whoa, we got hop and dice. That white die just didn't want to stay in there, did it? 6-8, and that is a 1-10 single. Anything else he lines to short, that's a 17. So he lines it to Gallego, and there's one away. And that sends us to Carlton Fisk. He's 1 for 2. That's a 6-9, and that's a single. Make him 2 for 3. Carlton Fisk. No threat to run, will not be held. Brings up Tim Hewlett. Lamp continuing to toss in the bullpen. As Ontiveros might be near the end. 6-8, and that's a 1-10 single, but an 18 means another line out to short, so they got a break on the D20. 2 down, and it's up to Manrique to keep it going for the White Sox. $1-8 for Manrique, struck him out. For Ontiveros, that is strikeout number 3 to go with his 4 walks. Actually, 5 walks. And he still keeps some endurance, believe it or not, into the 7th. Still 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Top of the order, Polonia, Lansford, and Canseco. Lefty, 1-7. And that's a solid triple for Polonia. A very rare case where you get a clean triple on the card without a D20 roll. And it's right here, 1-7 against the left-handers. And he gets a solid triple. Polonia on the season had 10 triples. And you can see why they gave him a straight-out triple there. This is his 3rd triple of the replay. So Polonia starts things off with a leadoff triple. And that brings up Carney Lansford. Infield back, they got a 2-run lead. They want to prevent a big inning, so they'll give up the run. They can cap him at 1 run and keep him there, maintain the lead. Here's Lansford, 5-9. That's a ground ball, second base C. That will get the run home and cut the lead to 2-1. RBI ground out for Carney Lansford. So 1 away. And Jose Canseco, but the bases are clear now. So it's 2-1 Chicago. 1-9, and that's a 1 home run. Anything else is a double, so Canseco will double. So it turns out it didn't matter if they played in or out on that other play because the double would have scored the run anyway. So tying runs at second base with 1 out for Mark McGuire. Four, 5, and that's a pop out to short. Big out there to get with no base runner advancement as Canseco couldn't go anywhere. And here brings up Ron Say. Say is 0 for 2. Clutch situation for Say. That's a 1. So Bannister's wild pitch rating is a 4. No wild pitch. Say in the clutch. Loses a hit on 1-3. Everything else he's neutral. 5-8 instead is a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So the leadoff triple by Polonia, but the White Sox can, keep the threat to just the 1 run and maintain a 2-1 lead as we go to the 7th inning. And now the A's bullpen. You're wondering if they're going to go to the bullpen here. I think getting 6 innings out of Ontiveros is probably the most they could ask for. They're going to bring in a fresh arm. So Ontiveros goes 6 innings, only gives up 3 hits and 2 runs, but he did have 5 walks, and that's what really was his downfall. And they're going to bring in Dennis Lamp. Dennis Lamp is on in relief. See what he did on what he's done on the replay versus real season. So Lamp on the real season, 1-3 with a 5.08 ERA and no saves. On the replays, 1-0 with a 3.38 ERA and 1 save. So he's done better on the replay, obviously. And he'll be facing number 9 hitter Ken Williams. 2-1 ball game, top of the 7th. 6-8, and that's going to be a strikeout for Lamp. So Lamp puts the K on Williams. 1 away. And that will bring up Darryl Boston. Darryl Boston. Top of the order, he's 0 for 2 with a walk. 3-3, and that's a ballpark single check, but again, only 1-3, so that's going to be a liner to second. 2 down. And that'll bring up Ozzie Guillen. Guillen's 0 for 2 with a walk. 1-8 for Guillen. He's going to fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So Dennis Lamp, a 1-2-3 7th inning. And he's got 3 for a relief factor, so he could actually finish the game if he's effective as far as fatigue goes. And as far as fatigue goes, this is the fatigue inning for Floyd Bannister, bottom of the 7th. 7th inning stretch, but we're going to keep rolling because the game's been going pretty quickly. And the coffee's still warm, so we're going to keep it rolling literally and figuratively. It'll be Steinbach, Davis, and Phillips. Due up for the A's, although we are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting certainly could come into play. Steinbach against Bannister, 4-11. Fly ball right field X. We're looking at Calderon, 3-5. 3 and boy, that double die just is acting up big time. 3-3 is going to be a double. And that's a 9, and he's an E5, so no problems there. But that double die has just been horrendous all game. And it's a double, leadoff double for Steinbach. He is the tying run. For Mike Davis, the left-hander, but he's 2 for 2 in this ball game. So he's figured something out on Bannister that nobody else has, apparently. 2-5, but not this time. It's a ground ball to short. And Guillen will free Steinbach at second, throw to first for 1 away. Big first out to get with no base runner advancement. Here's Phillips. He's a 240 hitter. Well, you wonder if they might go to the bench here. Let's see who they got on the bench that's any good. That's right-handed. Not much on the right-hand side. In fact, they have 3 switch hitters. They have Tettleton, Javier, and Griffin, and the lefty Hot Dog Jackson. But, man, you might as well go with your switch hitter Phillips, I guess. They just don't have much on the right-hand side from the bench. 2-7, and Phillips strikes out. That is strikeout number 4 for Bannister, as he's trying to pitch around that leadoff double. Here's Gallego. He's only a 250 hitter, but he did double. He's 1 for 2, and he's pretty much better than what's on the bench, so he's going to stick with Gallego. It's a clutch situation for Gallego, and he loses a couple of hits here, 3 of them, as a matter of fact. 3-2, 3-9, and 3-10 are all turning to outs. That's a 5-7. Ground ball shortstop X, we're looking at Guillen. Guillen is a 2E21. 2 and an 8. Should be okay with that. 2 and an 8 is a G2. That's an 11, and he is an E21. E21, there's no 11 there, so Guillen does make the play to end the inning. And Bannister can keep some endurance for the 8th. And he pitches around the leadoff double from Steinbach. So we go to the 8th. Still 2-1 ball game. Lamp back out. We'll face Baines, Walker, and Calderon here in the 8th. Baines, Walker, and Calderon. 1-3 is a ballpark single check. Again, a 1-3, so that's just going to be a liner to second. Hits and home runs hard to come by at Oakland Coliseum. 1 away, and here's Greg Walker. Walker is 0 for 1. He's walked twice and scored. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. Second strikeout for Lamp. He's retired all 5 he's faced since coming on. And here is Calderon. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 1-6 for Calderon. It's going to be a double. 2-out double for Ivan Calderon. And that's going to bring up Fisk in a clutch situation. Clutch situation for Fisk, and in the clutch against righties, he gains a hit on 112, and that's the only place. Everywhere else is neutral. 2-7 for Fisk. He struck him out. So Lamp pitches around that 2-out double and keeps the score right where it is at 2-1. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Bob James, their closer for the White Sox, is doing some light tossing just in case Bannister runs into issues. Bottom of the 8th we go. Top of the order. Luis Poloni had that triple his last time up, tripled and scored. 5-9, left-handed, is a fly to center. Hauled in by Williams, 1 away. That'll bring up Carney Lansford. He's 0 for 3. He does have an RBI ground out, but he is 0 for 3 nonetheless. 6-6, and that's going to be not 0 for 3 anymore. 6 for 6. 6-6 rather is a single on a 3-20. So it's a 1-out single for Lansford. He is the tying run, and he might be looking to get a lead. He needs a 2 through 5 to obtain a good lead. 5, he gets the lead. He's an 18, being held as a 16. -2 is a 14. 1-14, he will steal it. And he's in there. Stolen base for Carney Lansford. That's huge. He is now in scoring position. It also takes away the ground ball double play. But he's in scoring position for Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire, 2 tough right-handed hitters. Bannister's got to bear down. If it was anybody other than Bannister, they'd probably bring in James right here to try to close it out. But Bannister's your ace. You got to give him some leeway. Here's Canseco. He doubled his last time up. 3-5, and here we go. Canseco, look at that. 3-5, a solid home run. If you bring in the righty, it's still going to be a home run, but it's a solid home run here without the D20 even needed. A 2-run home run for Jose Canseco. And just like that, Oakland has flipped the script and leads it 3-2. And they just put a shock into Floyd Bannister for home run. A home run for Canseco is his 13th of the replay. RBI 34 and 35. Plain as day, 3-5 against the left-hander. It's a solid home run. A's lead it 3-2, and now all of a sudden, Dennis Eckersley loosening in the bullpen. Although the way Lamp's pitching, you'd think he might finish it out, but I think you got to have prudence and go with Eckersley in that situation. 4-10, that's a ballpark single check there, but that's going to fail. That's a line out to third. 2 down. So you're going to see if Bannister can go and get the complete game, or at least complete through 8 innings anyway. And here's Ron Say. So by not bringing in the right-handed reliever, you keep Hot Dog Jackson on the bench. 2-8 for Say, and he'll walk or waddle or whatever. And let's see if they would. Bannister is now listed as tired against Steinbach, who doubled his last time up. So I think they're going to make the move to the bullpen. 7 2/3 for Bannister, but I think since he's tired, you don't want to give up one of those dot base hits. So they will go to the bullpen. And they're going to go ahead and bring in Bob James. It's not a save situation, obviously, but he's going to try to keep the score where it is. And he just needs 1 out. So he's a +2. So he will come on and face Steinbach. So Bannister 1 out away from what would have been a complete game, possibly. But now that's not in question. Bob James is on. On the regular season, Bob James, 4-6, 4.67 ERA and 10 saves. On the replay, he is 1-1 with a 5.75 ERA and 8 saves. So James against Steinbach. Get the numbers on Bannister. He gives up 8 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, obviously. Let's see his walks. He only walked 2 that I can see. He walked Canseco and he walked Say. So he had 2 walks. Didn't strike out many either, just struck out 4. So now 2 outs, bases empty, but the A's lead it 3-2, and Eckersley is ready in the 9th. James, 2-4 to Steinbach, gets him to ground to third to end the inning. But the 2-run home run from Jose Canseco has given the A's a 3-2 lead, and they turn that lead over to Mr. Eckersley in the 9th. And we'll see if there's any kind of pinch hitting that might be going on for the White Sox. So we go to, well, it does say, actually the computer is telling me Lamp is tired, so that makes even more sense to go to Eckersley, who is not tired. So Eckersley is going to come on the real season. Eckersley, 6-8, 3.03 ERA and 16 saves. On the replays, 4-3, 2.38 ERA and 8 saves. So going for save number 9. Now, for the White Sox, we got some lefties on the bench they could possibly go to, perhaps. Have to check their bench. They do have Gary Reedus. He's not left-handed, but he's a good hitter. They got switch hitter. Actually, the only lefty on the bench is switch hitter Jerry Harrison. He's only hits .230. So their better hitters are right-handed. And actually, one of their best hitters is Jerry Royster. He's got the highest average. So Jerry Royster will pinch hit for Hewlett, and then stay in the game and play third base if it goes to the bottom of the 9th. So Hewlett takes an 0-for-3 day, and he'll get the rest of the game off as they go to Jerry Royster. So Royster hit .265 and 196 at-bats with 7 home runs. And on the replay, he's hitting .275 with 3 home runs and 80 at-bats. Hey, Brizzle, good to see you. Royster, Eckersley to Royster. We get a 4-9, and that is a strikeout for Eckersley. So he puts the K on the pinch hitter Royster, 1 away, and that brings up Manrique. He's a .258 hitter, so he's pretty much better than what's on the bench. So you're going to stick with Manrique. Manrique is 0-for-2 with a sacrifice fly in this game. 2-10, and that's a ground ball to short. That'll be Gallego. And the A's 1 out away from literally stealing one in the 11th hour with that 2-run homer from Canseco in the bottom of the 8th. And here's Ken Williams' last chance. He's 0 for 3. But in the real season, he was a .281 hitter, so you're not going to pinch hit for him. And he does have, well, he doesn't have much power against righties, but he can get on base. 5-6 struck him out, and that's going to do it. Eckersley closes it out in style, and the A's steal one literally from the Chicago White Sox. The winning pitcher is Dennis Lamp. The loser, unfortunately, is Bannister. He takes his first loss of the season to drop to 7-1. Eckersley picks up save number 9. As he goes 1 inning, doesn't give up anything with 2 strikeouts. Let's see, Lamp went 2 innings. And let's see what he did in his 2 innings. He gave up a double, and that was it, just the 1 hit. And he struck out 3. No walks. So for the White Sox, 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. For the A's, 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. So Bob James, just a third of an inning there to close that out. So we'll go to the box score once I put in this Ken Williams strikeout. We will hit the box score. So Floyd Bannister takes his first loss of the season. It was a far cry from the 9-3 regular score won by the A's. But the A's now hold a 32-23 and sent Chicago under 500, 26-27. Left on base, White Sox 7, Oakland 6. So game 382 is in the books. Yeah, it was pretty fast. Well, that's what happens when you get good pitching. You know, it did happen, and the runs for Oakland just came up at one time on the home run. But as we said, we go to game 383. That'll be next. Do I have that score sheet handy? I don't think I have that with me. Or do I? No, I don't think I do right now. I think that's downstairs. I think that's downstairs. Or it may not even be written yet. I probably have to write one up. I probably need to print off some more blank ones and write it up. But next game will be Cleveland at California. And like I said, it's the Geriatric Bowl, as you have Don Sutton taking on Phil Niekro from the Big A in Anaheim. And I have no idea in 1987 the combined age of those two guys, but they're both 40 plus as they start the game. So Geriatric Bowl it will be between those two. As we look at the standings now based on this game that was just completed, the loss by the White Sox will drop them all the way down to third place. They fall behind Minnesota and California, who are tied for second at an even 500. They are 28-28, but they're 4.5 games in back of the A's, who are 32-23. But so California's game against Cleveland, obviously that's important. If they win, they'll take over sole possession of second place. If they lose, they'll drop back with the White Sox at 5 games back and be tied for third. So that's all we can say about that. It was a fast-moving game. Canseco won it with his 13th home run. Lamp got the win, and I forgot to write down what his – let me go to the Oakland's stats because I forgot to write down what his record was with that win. So let me see what happened there. For Dennis Lamp, he's now 2-0 with that win. All right, so that's going to do it from here. Tomorrow, Cleveland at California, the Old Man Bowl, Phil Niekro and Don Sutton. We'll be doing the Steve Carlton 72 replay on payoff pitch, game number 3 at San Francisco. Probably going to record that one again and upload it for Friday. I'm not sure. Usually when I record something, it takes like a full day for YouTube for me to be able to upload it. So I might do it live. I might do it as a recording. I haven't decided yet. And possibly tonight, most likely tonight will be the final game of the opening day of the Demolition League in 2020. So that's going to do it from here. I hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.